We now will be looking at built-in object methods. I think it's funny, like I think on all of these videos I started with, so now we'll be looking at, or I don't know, something like that, and I end them all with, I'll see you in the next video, or something like that. I don't know. I just find it weird. I'm trying to find ways to not do that, and I'm struggling. But anyway, so now we'll be working on built-in object methods. In the previous exercise, we were working creating objects that have their own methods, but we can also take advantage of built-in method for objects. So what's really cool is you can say, basically, similar to strings where you have like two uppercase, that exists on every single string. When you create an object, there are also a bunch of methods that come with inside of the prototype that just come with, since it's just because it's an object, okay? That's what is saying. So if you say has own property, value of entries, oh wait, no, sorry, not entries. Has own property, value of, I think there's get prototype of or something like that. There is a lot of information there that you have access to. So let's take a look at this. What is missing in the following method call? Object.keys. We have to pass in the robot in here. So robot key, robot. So what's going to happen here is it's going to pull all of the keys: model, mobile, sentient, armor, energy level, model, mobile, sentient, armor, energy level. And notice how they are in that specific order in which they were assigned. So order does matter in this context. So next we're going to look at on entries. So const robot entries equals object.entries robot. So now this will create a two-dimensional array, so meaning it's going to be array of arrays, but each pair, each entry inside of the first array is going to be two pieces long, being the key and the value. Okay, so you're going to be creating an array of arrays of key value pairs. That's basically what's happening. So if I run that, you have all of these being their respective arrays, and you got model, that, mobile, true, sentient, false. You've got key value pairs of, you've got an array of key value pairs. Okay. Now, what if we want another object that has the property robot, but a few additional properties? Okay. So this sounds like we can use object.assign. So let's see. So const new robot will be a new object that has all the properties of robot and the properties of the following object. So laser blaster, true, voice recognition, true, and then what we do is object.assign, where you're going to assign onto the target, which is new robot, and from the source, robot. Okay, and now we can console.log robot. So basically what we're doing is we're creating an object that contains the new information, and we assigned all the old information onto that. There you go. Now we have console.log, laser blaster, voice recognition, and all of the old information. So those are some built-in object methods that you have available to you. It didn't really explain what has own property of and value of and all this stuff is. You can read about it in here. You don't, well, I personally don't use it very often unless there is a situation where like I am in the state of the thing I'm trying to assess is in an unknown, well, it's in an unknown state. I don't know what's happening to it, and I need to be able to see the information safely. And so this is where you can use the, what is it called? Has own property. And so instead of just saying, like pulling the information, you can say, hey, does it have this information? Oh, it does have the information. Now we can access it. If it doesn't, then we're like, okay, let's not access it. That's just a way to safely, at runtime, assess the state of an object without making assumptions that could potentially be dangerous, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I have a const object equal that, okay? And then I'm going to have a math.random. So let's say if math.random is less than 0.5, if it's less than that, then object.foo equals bar. Now I'm going to console.log object.hasOwnProperty foo. And so half the time this will say true, half the time this will say false. So it's saying false, false, true, true, false, right. And it's doing this over and over again, and you can see how it's swapping between. So this is just a way to identify, hey, does this have this information? And you could do object.foo, theoretically. Sometimes it's going to be undefined, sometimes it's going to be bar, but instead of actually like accessing that information, you can see if the information even exists in the first place before you try to access it. That is just, it can be safer. So yeah, and it also is type safe. So when you're in JavaScript, when you're in TypeScript, the hasOwnProperty foo will be type safe if even if object.foo, like in this situation, TypeScript would recognize that this is potentially undefined. Actually, it wouldn't even recognize that it even exists in the first place. You'd have to assign that to be a type and yada, yada, yada. But anyway, in theory, this would be either undefined or bar, okay? And so that object.hasOwnProperty bar or foo, it would recognize as safe because hasOwnProperty exists. But if you do .foo, it'd be like, hey, this could be undefined. You have no idea. The compiler doesn't know. And so that's just why you'd use hasOwnProperty. Value of normal object value of. I wonder what value of is. I haven't used it before. So my number type and this dot number. See how it's using the old way to do classes? So new my number type 4. Oh, maybe that was what I was doing wrong. I need to do a new. Interesting. Okay, anyway. Value of this dot number. Yeah. So it looks like what I was doing wrong with the those functions and dealing with the arrow versus whatever, and why I was saying weird this property, because I was neglecting to do new because I forgot that that's how they did it pre 2015. Which I've been dealing with classes this whole time, which is the right way to do it. You don't do this. This is dumb. It's old way to do it. So basically, if you assign value of equal to this dot number, it looks like expected output is 7. So if I run this, interesting. So what's happening here is it's looking at the prototype of my number type, which again is all the like aspects, all the properties of my number, or all the properties of the object that you're creating. If you console.log object1, you're gonna see an object. Okay. What happens when I do that? Yeah. So if you console.log object1, you're going to see the object1 dot is value of 4. But I could probably also do this dot foo equals bar. Can I do that? Run. It's going to still be 4, but can I do object1 dot foo? Oh my gosh, that is so weird. So object1 evaluates to 4, but it is treated as an object. I did not know this was even a thing. That is uncomfortable. I didn't know this was a thing. That is kind of weird. So anyway, yeah, you've got that, which is a thing. Yeah. Huh. So I'm going to explain what just happened. Okay, so if I log object1 plus 3, it's going to be 7 because object1, value of object1 is 4. And if I log object1, and if I log it as a number, it's going to be 4. It's going to recognize that as being 4, which that just forces it. Like it's the same thing as like the bang operator. Bang is converting into Boolean. That converts it into a number. So this evaluates to 4. But if I add other properties onto this dot-foo equals bar, I can access those properties even though this object1 evaluates to 4. I can still do this dot-foo, which seems like I'm doing 4.foo, which will be undefined. This will not work. But object1 dot foo is bar, even though that literally evaluates to 4. That is weird, and I don't like it. Okay, that's weird. Anyway, so that's what value of does. Interesting. So now you know what value of does. Oh my god, I don't like that. Well, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not sure I do like that. That feels not type safe. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't think I like that. So anyway, so that's what value of does. Yeah. There you go. You have learned entries, keys, assign, has on property, and value of. That makes me so uncomfortable. That really makes me uncomfortable. Any of you students who are going to be working on my code or working on the code in the Taters repositories, I said my code because I built the master repository that branches out into all the others. But anyone who is going to be working on that code, please don't do that. I don't like it. I don't think I like it. So anyway, you have learned objects now, or more complicated objects. Yay.